Are your parents possessive of your time and constantly critical of your behavior? Is one or the other of your parents overly involved in your life and your activities? Do you feel guilty whenever you try to do something for yourself, not them? If you answered in the affirmative to any of these questions, you might be dealing with narcissistic parents. It is difficult enough to navigate the treacherous waters of your teenage years. You're just now learning how to be an adult, somewhat captive to those pesky hormones, and figuring out who you want to be. When you have parents who are more self-interested than supportive, those years can be extraordinarily difficult. However, it is possible to learn how to protect yourself and deal with the worst aspects of their narcissistic behavior. Keep watching for some wise advice on how to manage your toxic parents' behavior and take action to protect yourself. Number 1. Qualities of the narcissistic parent. First, it is important to identify the characteristics common to narcissistic parents. While narcissism manifests itself differently in men and women to some degree, there are some qualities that mark both mothers and fathers as narcissists. These behaviors can be confusing and hurtful, especially to a teenager who is experiencing their own emotional turmoil. Narcissistic parents will need the conversation to be about them, ignoring your emotional needs in favor of their own self-interest. They behave selfishly and are often more immature than you are, throwing tantrums when they don't get their way. They will often brag about your achievements to others, but they rarely provide any personal support or validation for you. Narcissistic parents will often blame you for their problems, and they will frequently demean you for even the smallest infraction. They will guilt you into doing what they want and try to make you feel bad for not catering to their every whim. They constantly undermine your self-confidence, making you feel anxious, unworthy, and even unloved. Number 2. The impact on your mental health. Growing up with narcissistic parents undeniably influences your psychological health and overall well-being. It is impossible to remain unscathed by the behavior of fundamentally self-centered parents who have complex agendas and manipulative manners. Unlike typically functioning parents, narcissistic parents do not put your needs above their own. Children of narcissistic parents often have trouble making decisions and feel guilty when they put themselves first. They are used to catering to the needs of their parents. You might doubt yourself and your abilities after having been criticized by a toxic parent frequently. You will often shoulder the blame for your parents' behavior rather than see their actions as self-centered and inappropriate. You often feel insecure, uncertain about your place in the world or with others because your parents are unpredictable. Their emotional outbursts leave you traumatized and feeling alone. This can lead you into potentially unhealthy relationships, clinging to a boyfriend or girlfriend that mirrors your parents' emotionally abusive behavior, or it can lead you to isolating yourself from others, unable to trust anyone with your feelings. Number 3. Managing your toxic parents. There are ways in which you can protect yourself and improve your mental health. While confrontation is part and parcel of a teen's arsenal, in this case, confrontation will likely only make things more intolerable. Narcissists react negatively, often explosively, to having their behavior pointed out to them. Instead, try some of the following techniques. Once you understand what's happening and acknowledge that it's not your fault, then you can begin the process of acceptance and letting go. You are never going to be able to change their behavior, The more you try, the more frustrating and toxic the atmosphere will become. Accept that this is their problem, and the abusive actions toward you are really a reflection of their own insecurities. Tend to your own self-esteem and confidence. Your narcissistic parents will try to gaslight you at every turn, perhaps insisting that your memories are false, that your claims are invalid. Remember that you have your own truth. Foster compassion, both for yourself and for your parents. You should prioritize your own well-being over theirs, putting your needs first. But also try to cultivate some compassion toward them. They really don't intend to hurt you, and underneath their narcissistic behavior, they really do harbor love and affection for you. Number 4, take action for yourself. Seek out activities and people who bring positivity into your life. If you find that you are very skilled in a particular sport or intellectually talented in a specific field, then you can begin to develop an identity outside of your family unit. This identity will be one imbued with self-worth and self-reliance. Always remember to defend your boundaries as much as you can in the face of their manipulation and demands. This is not always easy when you are a teenager still living at home, but try to maintain your own autonomy as best you can. The more able you are to stress those boundaries with clear-eyed and cool-headed calm, the better able you are to maintain your own emotional health. Finally, seek out a professional if you feel incapable of managing the situation at home any longer. It is extremely important that you become an advocate for yourself. If your levels of anxiety and depression aren't addressed, then you risk potentially permanent harm to yourself and your prospects. A school counselor or teacher, a coach or a mentor, a church leader or extracurricular activity director, these people can be touchstones for help when you need it. Dealing with toxic parents can be exhausting and emotionally overwhelming, but don't feel that you are alone. Reaching out to a therapist, a support group, a family member, or friend can help you feel reinforced in your struggles. It can also help you to see the situation more clearly, allowing you to relinquish your guilt and shrug off the misplaced blame. Understanding the psychological impact on your mental health hopefully motivates you to implement some of the strategies discussed previously. Remember that you are entitled to be treated with love and respect. The next video, How to Emotionally Detach from a Narcissistic Mother, can also help you with strategies to detach emotionally from a narcissistic parent and grieve the trauma you have suffered. Thanks for watching.